So in this video we are going to show you how to do an easy streaming setup. As Mrs. Werner and I are not very knowledgeable in this area, but we definitely want to learn. So what we have already is our Elgato Wave 3 microphone with a little USB-C adapter. Then we have the Xbox Series X, and we're going to also plug in a Nintendo Switch, which you will see later. We have a HDMI splitter. So basically this is there so that we can plug in both the Xbox as well as the Nintendo Switch at the same time and have it outgoing to our capture card, which is the Elgato HD60 S Plus. Why did we choose this one? So very easy, we only have a full HD monitor at the moment, and in addition it can even pass through 4K HDR, 4K 60 HDR and capture 1080p 60. So that should be not a problem. And we are going to use as a capturing computer the M1 MacBook Air in hopes that everything will work. And we're going to set this all up, test it out with both the devices and show you a little bit the process. Okay, so what comes in the box? In the HD60 S Plus, we get, I think, typical Elgato packaging here, similar to what we have seen also for the Wave 3 microphone. So very straightforward. We have the device itself with the HDMI out, HDMI in, and the USB interface, USB-C, some stickers and other miscellaneous things. Nicely enough, they include an HDMI cable, which is very good because you will run out of those extremely fast, I think. And then you have a USB 3 cable from Type C to Type A. And that's pretty much it what we all need for now. Okay, as said before, we are going to use the output here of the HDMI switch. Again, essentially to go to the HD60. And then we're going to use the HDMI cable that we already have here as the output basically for this. We're going to plug in the USB cable, and that's all the plugs that you need. Interestingly enough, you also have a USB in, a microphone in, sorry. So we need to see whether we can use that in the future, but till now, since we have a USB microphone, this will not be the case. And as we just are going to have a quick check, here's our HDMI cable from the Xbox. We need to see if the whole setup will work. So we are going to plug this in into port number 1. This is only a full HD cable, but that should not stop us. We are going to plug this in to our laptop. Give the whole thing some electricity, and again the cable management is messy, but we clean up everything once it works. Okay, when we plug in the device with the capture card, we see it should light up there in a sec, and it does. So we just assume it's functional, and we start the Xbox Series X. Let's see. And in an ideal world, also our little HDMI switch picked it up properly, and we see also that there is an image. So let's start the game capture software. And we select the device itself. And we can see here that it works properly, and it records in 1080p 30 frames a second, which is right. Okay, let's dig right into the game. So interestingly enough, we see it's still 1080p 30. That is a little bit odd, I must say. But the entrance is correct. Okay, now that we see we are in the laptop, we see Cyberpunk running. When we move the mouse, we see all the features. So we see the game capture card. Cool is that you can also use the screen link application to use your iPad, which is quite nice, I believe. We have the game tone. If we have the speakers running also, they will automatically air it up. We can put a live streaming account, which we don't have set up yet. Then we can take which audio is going to be the input, and we can see that here we can also use the Wave 3 one, which we will set up later. And then set this further up as what kind of game we are playing and so on and so on. And it takes all of it care. So very nice. Okay, so let's jump into the game quickly. Interesting enough though, we see still that it's 1080p 30, so let's see the settings. And that we want to also record 60 frames per second. And then we can also increase our quality. And we see here, interestingly enough, the new things are not there, the new consoles, but that we see. And we see here also we need to choose iPad as an input, and we can adjust different kind of image as well as sound properties. So let's do 60, and we see that the input is actually only 34 frames a second, which is odd. Let's check into the settings here. We have put it to performance mode, so typically it should run better, but okay, that we will see. But okay, cool. So the first test works, and now let's clean the whole thing up. Okay, quick update. So basically we had the problem that the Nintendo Switch HDMI cable that I'm using has this big bulky ferrite core attached to it, and this makes that it always pulls out as soon as we plug everything in, so it didn't really send an image signal. And also this whole mess got created. So essentially what I'm going to do now is on day 2 rip it all out, try 2 new HDMI cables which I have here, which are a little bit smaller, and then let's see what it is. Okay, quick update. So now we've managed that the Nintendo Switch, here it is. Okay, quick update. So the Nintendo Switch works. It passes through game capture, and then ultimately it goes to the monitor. So we know the HDMI cables, were just a little bit loose here, and we don't need to really exchange them. That is a pretty good news, I think. I now have the problem that we still have only one HDMI switch, and the disadvantage, it seems, of the Elgato game capture is that the laptop needs to run so that we can pass through the image to the monitor. But that is actually something which I'm not really happy about, to be honest, because I still believe there must be a better way for doing this. The cable mess is still there, but essentially now we have 2 options. Either we get a second one of these and then bypass the whole game capture thing if we just want to play video games, for example on the Xbox, or we have to unplug and plug back in the cable between the 2 consoles. But the Nintendo Switch HDMI port is a little bit recessed, so I had this pretty standard Fire TV extension cord. Unfortunately, it's too short for the distance to cover in the Nintendo Switch, so that is the next problem that I need to solve. But for now, it looks pretty okay. So now I'll clean up the cable mess and see where it takes us.